Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is February the 21st. 2019. Strong hand. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Offended by selling. Be a unique beast. I forgot that yesterday. Unconfiscatable. Holder of last resort. World Reserve cryptocurrency. Be curious, not angry. All right, there's the honey badger. He's really curious. I got this at the Tel Aviv 10-year Bitcoin anniversary blast of a party on January 3rd. So yeah, I'm wearing it again. I wear it often. You know I wear a different t-shirt, different shirt every single time. You can get shirts below. You can get all sorts of stuff below. Check out the links below for everything I talk about in this video. Friday show is This Week in Bitcoin. Hopefully Simon Dixon will be on tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. London time, 8:30 a.m. New York time. I haven't heard back from him in a little bit, so hopefully everything goes swimmingly tomorrow. Simon Dixon, 1:30 p.m. London time on Friday for This Week in Bitcoin. Hearing all his thoughts about This Week in Bitcoin. All right, so Simon Dixon is, he knows a lot about Bitcoin. He knows more than this guy, so don't put this guy on a pedestal. But this dude is really smart, and I love this tweet of his. Elon Musk. Whoever owns the early Bitcoin deserves a Nobel Prize in delayed gratification. Oh, yeah. Pound that like button. That's a real quote. That's from his Twitter. I linked to it below. Whoever owns the early Bitcoin deserves a Nobel Prize in delayed gratification. Oh, I'm aiming for that Nobel Prize. That's the one Nobel Prize you want, in delayed gratification. And that all of you can get. 2020 Bitcoin halving. All right. Matt Odell has this tweet. Samsung, the world's largest smartphone manufacturer, confirmed they are including a Bitcoin wallet in their new phones. This is extremely bullish. Yes, the wallet will probably be, and it uses the S word, and advertised as more secure than it actually is. Doesn't matter. Still a big step forward. Okay, everybody's talking about the Samsung. I think it's a step forward. I don't know how big it is. We're going to have these steps. They're going to keep on happening. Good luck. I hope it is huge. I'm not going to get too excited about it, but everyone is talking about it. I linked to Matt's tweet. I also linked to the Samsung press release, which is a big press release, and it only deals like one line with the crypto aspect. Like everything else deals with other aspects of the phone that has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. So we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. All right. Speaking about ending up, don't end up a victim. Don't mess around. Just stick with Bitcoin. There were people back in 2016 and 2017 telling me, diversify into this Bitconnect thing. Don't worry, it's safe. Anyway, Breaker Magazine, the article, the FBI is looking for Bitconnect victims. The FBI notice was first released on February 12th. And confirms that the law enforcement agency is investigating the scheme after earlier hints to that effect. And then I linked to the FBI press release also. You can read that. And I guess if you are a victim of Bitconnect, you can get in touch with the FBI if you wish. For everyone else out there, let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson. It can end up in an FBI investigation. It can be too good to be true. Definitely. So, yeah, stick with the rock, with the Bitcoin. Unconfiscatable. The beauty of Bitcoin is that no centralized authority can stop you from dropping Bitcoin and getting an altcoin, though. Okay? Or talking about an altcoin. No one can stop you. That is the beauty of Bitcoin. So every time, someone breaks your heart and starts talking about Ethereum, or they're all of a sudden an Ethereum maximalist when they were a Bitcoin maximalist. No, consider that a positive. Consider that a positive. That there was nothing stopping. There are no centralized authorities dictating anything. And if anyone makes it out that way over social media, saying, "Oh no, you can't leave Bitcoin. You can't talk about an altcoin." No, they're wrong. They're wrong. They're intimidating. They're bullying you. So it's personal responsibility is new counterculture. I've said many times what I recommend: you stick with the Bitcoin. You get those crypto dividends. You turn them into Bitcoin. Sure, you can talk about the other ones. You can look into the other ones, whatever. I've never bought the other ones, but you can. That is the beauty. Bitcoin doesn't stop you from doing that. It's not some dictatorship. It's not some cult where you get kicked out. I mean, you can leave whenever you want, and you can do the craziest things imaginable. You can buy Bitconnect. We can't stop. You can't be stopped from buying Bitconnect. It's personal responsibility. So yeah, sure. You're not under the influence of some dictator. You don't have to follow the rules of some dictator. But there's no policeman either saying, "Oh no, you can't do that." There's no Bitcoin mommy. Everyone's trying to be a Bitcoin. So many people are trying to be Bitcoin mommies out there on social media. No, they don't exist. Take personal responsibility. It's a new counterculture. Pound that like button. All right, and we're going to talk more about personal responsibility very soon. I want to talk about crypto dividends real quick. My man, Chris Gilliard, down in Puerto Rico, he wrote something. What is this? The future of Bitcoin crypto dividends and why we are working on Mimblewimble coin. Okay, and I quote, as a person who holds, and it's a good essay he wrote, as a person who holds the vast majority of my net worth in Bitcoin, I hope all future coin offerings are done as airdrops. The tremendous value that would create for Bitcoin holders would be unfathomable. And I think it's part of Bitcoin's disruption. And I have mentioned this before, and I am going to talk about this more in a future video, maybe an outside video, that there could be a Bitcoin parallel universe for altcoins. There could be, the altcoin universe we're used to now, where people just make up their own altcoins and you have to buy them. But then there could be the Bitcoin parallel altcoin universe, where all altcoins are just distributed to Bitcoin holders. That's the way altcoins are born. And altcoins can decide which universe do you want to be in, the traditional one or in the one where you distribute to Bitcoin holders. Anyway, it's something to explore. Chris's article obviously is about much more than that, but it made me think about that idea that I had, and I'll expand upon that idea on a later date. But yeah, I love it. Yeah, create your altcoins and just give them to me for free. I think that is a legitimate way of distributing altcoins because Bitcoin holders they're at the top. They're the apex predator of holders. So yeah, so the MWC coin, Mimblewimble, it's going to be an airdrop that Bitcoin holders can sign up for starting on April 20th, which of course is Ken Bozak's favorite day of the year. So that's 420 for those of you who can't figure that one out. All right, remember I'm TechBalt on Twitter, TechBalt, and Bitcoin Meister on Steemit, where this show is live right this second. I'll save that one for Saturday. Hang on, let me mark that for Saturday. Okay, so clarification from yesterday. We were talking about internet users in certain countries, what percent own Bitcoin? And I wanted to make that clear because there were some people saying, wait a second, it seems high that 5% of Americans, or whatever they said, have some sort of cryptocurrency. And it's 5% of Americans that have access to the internet. Of course, 90% of Americans are on the internet. So that's still a pretty high number. And again, but for South Africa, only 60% of the people are on the internet, and then they said 12% or 10% of them or 9% of them have cryptocurrency, and they said of the world population, only 60% have the internet. And I forgot what number. What they say? If 5% of people in the world have crypto. Again, these numbers do seem they seem high. They still seem high, even when you take into account that they're just talking about internet users. But I don't know how far off they are now. And I'm really curious to know let's bring it down to America, which I'm familiar with because I am an American citizen, although right now I'm in Tel Aviv in Israel. But America's a well-off country and Coinbase is big here. And Coinbase says they have a lot of accounts. I mean, that makes it seem like, I always like to say it can't be more than 1% of Americans that have cryptocurrency. It can't be more than 1%. The more I think about it, again, I think 4.8% of Americans, it seems high. It seems high, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So to say 2% of Americans have it now, that wouldn't seem too wild. But you know what? I think we need more polls and studies on this. I think we really got to get scientific with this, because I've heard all sorts of different numbers for worldwide, for South Africa, for United States. Again, South Africa, you can understand why maybe a larger percentage of internet-enabled people there have it than in America, because they're in kind of an uncomfortable situation on many levels, and they're tech-savvy people. They're tech-savvy people. And again, I've been to their conferences where all sorts of people show up. Very popular there. The conference, at least, was quite popular. Anyway, so enough about that. I'd love to. I invite more people to try to figure this out. What percent of the people on the planet? What percent of the people in the United States have it? I don't think 2.5% of the people on Earth have it. Or 3% of the people on Earth have cryptocurrency. That seems high. But again, if there was, and again, one of the reasons that seems high is because in India, there's 1.1 billion people, and very few there have it. Clearly, very few. And so that's going to skew it in one direction. But then we get China with 1 billion people. And how many people really have it in China? Okay, so now I'm just thinking out loud here. Bitcoin memes today sends 50 Norwegian kroner. Thanks, man. 3.4 million Bitcoin left to be mined. 7.7 billion people. And then it goes 0.0004479 Bitcoin. Yeah. Strong hand. Yeah, that's right. That's how many they would get of the remaining Bitcoin. Not too many. So that's that. Bottom line is, if you have one Bitcoin, like the name of the show says, you're probably in good shape. Aim to get that one Bitcoin. That's your. But keep on moving from there. Keep on moving from there. And speaking about moving and being in motion, let's move on. And by the way, if 4% of Americans really have cryptocurrency now, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'll believe it when I see it, though. Whale Panda. This tweet, okay, he says, this is both hilarious, scary, and the perfect example of why we need Bitcoin. And he shows a screenshot. You got to check this link out below from Reddit of someone who uses Venmo, which I guess is like PayPal. And Venmo contacted this user of theirs saying they were worried about a transaction that they made through Venmo where they used the word Cuban. So yeah, I mean, when you this is what you should expect when you're using a third-party money service. That they're gonna watch you like a hawk, and if you say a word that they don't like, they're gonna wonder why you sent, I think it was $7 and used the word Cuban. And so it's a perfect example of why you need Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin doesn't ask you questions about words you use, okay? Doesn't discriminate. Unconfiscatable. Collectivism is the default. Individualism is the achievement. I usually say that on Saturday's show. I haven't said that for a while. I think Stefan Molyneux came up with that one. Okay, let's skip those were some Saturday show things I'll say later. So personal responsibility is lacking in the mainstream culture. I think we know that very well by now, because personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Now, there is a tweet out there by Coin Yeezy, and it's it's a video clip of a young lady at I guess a Bernie Sanders rally of some sort, saying that she's like $250,000 in debt, so some incredible amount of money in debt, because she went to college and she became a speech pathologist, and she says that's unfair. So she wants Bernie to bail her out now, and she's cheering. And this is what the tweet says: "This is America. Entire generation of debt slaves begging for bailouts. We are on a fast track to absolute economic carnage. Socialism spreading like the plague, thanks to AOC and Bernie Sanders. Long Bitcoin." So, okay, I'm not going to blame AOC or Bernie Sanders, whatever. That's just their natural inclination to be socialist. They're going to scream it to the mountaintop. It's the personal responsibility of the people to either, go with that flow or get into Bitcoin, or just accept like, okay, I went to college. I knew I was signing these papers, and now I'm in debt. I got to figure out a way out of it. But instead of figuring out a way out of it, they want Bernie Sanders to steal money from the rest of us so that their loans can be forgiven, so that they can be back. No, I mean, there's no personal responsibility there. But that's the beauty of all this. Some people are saying, "Oh no, this socialism stuff is taking hold in America," clearly, and you see this young girl and a bunch of other people screaming for the same thing. And yeah, it's a generation that feels entitled to be bailed out. And that's the culture. But throughout life, you should have realized by now that it's the non-mainstream way. It's the counterculture. That's where you make the money. That's where you have success, where you take personal responsibility, where you go in the other direction. So yeah, sure, they might get bailed out. But they're not going to be successful in the long run. They're not going to have wealth. They're not going to have wealth in the long run. You plan according to the trends. The trends are that there's going to have to be a lot of money printed to save these people. There's going to have to be a lot of taxes to save these people. So what can't they take from you? What will perform well if they print a lot of dollars? That is Bitcoin. So think of it as it's sad that we have a generation of people begging to be bailed out, like this young lady. And I can tell you see this young lady bouncing around, as it were. She could make some money at some place. When I used to value my wealth in other things, when I was like, I wasn't even 21 yet. We'd go to this place called Night Shift, and there'd be people. Well, this young lady could have entertained there, should we say? Google Night Shift Baltimore. You'll see what that was. Anyway, don't go there, because you end up, again, I didn't, do the dollars and stuff there. But again, if you're $250,000 in debt, and she didn't seem like she was starving, but if she's starving, then you got to do what you got to do. You got to work at night shift if you do. I don't have to pay for you. But hey, Bitcoin, that's the overlay I'm in. So, do what you're going to do. Work at night shift, vote for Bernie Sanders, do what you're going to, whatever. Google Night Shift Baltimore. You'll see what that was. All right. But again, I don't even know if it existed. It was it off of Pulaski Highway? Or it was in East Baltimore where the truckers used to go. I think you guys can imagine. Sure, there's something like that in every city. In every post-industrial city. Oh, God. And I'll never forget when that bouncer, when I was 20, but my friends were 21, and they handed me the drink. The bouncer saw it, and I can't say the words he used. It was just filled with, the guy was like 400 pounds. I'm lucky he didn't physically, he said he was going to physically harm me if he saw that again. I'll put it that way. Memories. Found that, do not value your wealth in night shift. Trust me. But again, that's Bernie Sanders supporter. You could see it in the clip. You could see if you think she would do well at night shift. All right. What do we have? Who is this? I don't know who this is. Oh, Michelle. I don't. This is a female Twitter. I don't know her name. It's H. Mitch. It's linked to below. In crypto, forks aren't failure. They are much more peaceful alternatives to the legacy top-down consensus mechanisms of lawsuits and guns. I like that. Crypto forks are failure. They are much more peaceful alternatives to the legacy top-down consensus mechanisms of lawsuits and guns. So yeah, in the traditional world, you go sue someone. God forbid the guns. But in the Bitcoin world, if you don't agree, just go fork off. You do your own thing. All right. So these Zcash people, I don't. Goodbye Zcash company. Hello Electric Coin Company. The Electric Coin Company is focused on building and supporting Zcash. That includes research and engineering that may or may not ever make it into Zcash software. This has been our mission from the very beginning, and we will continue to drive innovation and adoption. So it used to be called the Zcash Company. Now it's not Zcash changing its name, it's the Zcash Company changing its name to the Electric Coin Company. So, I mean, is this like plausible deniability type of things? If like something goes wrong with Zcash, then this company can't get sued because they're not called the Zcash Company anymore. I don't know. I think they're trying to fit in. Again, some people are going to say, well, Zcash is totally centralized. This is really Zcash. Well, they obviously work with Zcash, but they don't. They want to go in a direction where they can fit into mainstream finance. And that name is a good way to fit in. Instead of being this mysterious Zcash privacy coin related company, you're now the Electric Coin Company, Electric Coins. That's pretty broad. That's a broad base right there. That's not like just some Zcash privacy. So I see what they're doing. Will this and you know to make it like they're separate entities, and I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. I guess they are separate entities. That's good because some people don't like it when there's a centralized company controlling a coin. So they're going in that direction. And yeah, it might help Zcash too for the people that are like, well, this company is what's really behind Zcash, but clearly they're the Electric Coin Company, so it's much more respectable than just the Zcash company. It could help Zcash. Clearly, they're trying to fit in. All right, I see some content creators over there in the chat. We got Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master. You got to check him out. You got to check out BTC Sessions, BTC Benny. Also, just Google them. They've been on This Week in Bitcoin before, and so that's a good way to end the show actually, because tomorrow's show is This Week in Bitcoin. Hopefully, Simon will show up at 1:30 p.m. in London, 3:30 p.m. in Tel Aviv, 8:30 a.m. in New York. And just for BTC Benny, that's 6:30 a.m. in Calgary, where I'm sure it's lovely weather. All right. I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the link section below. Pound that like button and bang that bell button and click on those squares. See you tomorrow.